Can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk. This is a final prediction video for the fight between Shakur Stevenson and Josh Padley, taking place at short notice on Saturday night in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. If you enjoyed this video, please do comment with what your prediction is for this fight and follow/subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Paul, good to be joined by you. We weren't expecting to make this fight. Shakur Stevenson was scheduled to fight Floyd Schofield up until a couple of days ago. And here we are, Josh Padley, undefeated, fantastic win against Mark Chamberlain back in September. Been quite quiet since then. Obviously, we're now in February, so you would maybe have expected him to have another fight scheduled in, but I don't think one officially was. However, we're going to get right to it. Shakur Stevenson, obviously, to say he was a big favourite in this fight would be a massive understatement. But I'm keen to get your thoughts on what you think's actually going to happen here. Give us your final prediction, please.
Yeah, thanks as always, mate. I mean, what an opportunity for Josh Padley, and just want to start by saying fair play to him. Like, it's not saving the show because obviously the show would have gone ahead, but like he's just stepping in on 4 days' notice, fighting arguably the best lightweight in the world. Like, you got to tip your hat to him. Fair play to him. That being said, and I mean, as we touched on, he's got nothing to lose at all. But that being said, you can't see him winning at all, really, can you? I mean, I hope he gets handsomely paid for it. Hearing that he's probably getting six figures at least, so it's win-win for him. Nobody's expecting him to win. I'm not expecting him to win. I don't want to speak on your behalf or out of turn, but I'd say that 99.9% of boxing fans aren't expecting him to win. And yeah, I think Shakur Stevenson gets the job done. The interesting thing for me is that I think a lot of people see Shakur Stevenson as this point score outbox you for 12 rounds type fighter. So the intrigue here for me is whether or not Shakur Stevenson will maybe put it on Padley a little bit more, who's never been anywhere close to this level. And will he will go for the stoppage? Because I mean, I think a lot of people are were maybe expecting Stevenson to win via decision against Floyd Schofield, but now with the late replacement, with the level Padley's fought at, so on and so forth, I think a lot of people are now expecting Shakur Stevenson to put a knockout to get a knockout, and I think he has the opportunity to do so. Just like no disrespect to Padley, but the levels, I think will become apparent straight from the first bell. I think Shakur Stevenson could get the stoppage here, so I am going to lean towards a stoppage. Don't think he'll blast him out of there. I don't think that's in Shakur Stevenson's nature, to be honest. But I'll go for a Shakur Stevenson stoppage in the mid round, around 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, look, yeah, I think I love the story. If you consider beginning of this week, Josh Padley was kind of working in the job that he has, and then got a call whenever, and is fighting Shakur Stevenson on Saturday night. I think there's a couple of factors here. It's this fight, surprisingly to me, this fight is still for the world title, which means obviously Padley has to make weight. We're recording this video the day before the weigh-in. So I think, is Padley actually going to make weight? How does he make weight? How does he look? Are kind of factors here. I will. I also think you've got a Shakur Stevenson who I imagine is quite annoyed. He's trained for Floyd Schofield for however many weeks. Schofield's dropping out the fight 3, 4 days beforehand after Stevenson, has flown to Saudi Arabia, gotten over jet lag, adjusted to it, has begun the process of making weight himself to all of a sudden be facing a different opponent, but be facing an opponent who's a bit of the unknown. Josh Padley, to be fair to him, is undefeated, so we don't know how good Josh Padley is. We don't know what he's going to accomplish in his career, but if you're beating Mark Chamberlain the fashion he did, you're clearly not rubbish. And I just think that's going to have annoyed Stevenson. And I agree with you. I don't think Stevenson going in against an unknown opponent is going to go in there and try and blast him out. But I do expect Stevenson to get the stoppage here. And I'll go round 6 or 7 here for Stevenson. That's my final prediction. But I wish all the best for Josh for Josh Padley. You really want him to go there and make the most of this opportunity and to come out of it with your stock raised. And look, I think another thing about here is Turki Al Sheikh will be present on Saturday night. He might look at Josh Padley and think, I like him. He's impressed me a bit like he did when he saw Mark Chamberlain fight. And we could see Josh Padley possibly get another opportunity on either a Riyadh season card, or just another big opportunity in a card in the UK later this year. I think that's a possibility here. Now that we've got the final predictions over with Paul, I think there's been, I'm not even going to say rumors. There's been talk that Shakur Stevenson wants to face Gervonta Davis this year. Gervonta Davis is facing Lamont Roach exactly 1 week afterwards. He's the favorite for that fight. Are you hopeful at all that we could see that fight? It would be one of the biggest fights in world boxing. Two undefeated Americans, one massive puncher, one very skilled defensive fighter in Shakur Stevenson. Do you think we could see that fight?
Yeah, I actually do. I'm gonna bring some optimism to the video here, mate. Definitely, I think just with boxing, the climate of boxing at the minute, with as you mentioned, Riyadh season, Turkey Al Sheikh, and all of that there. I think that there will be appetite for this. Shakur Stevenson clearly wants it. I think I saw an interview him saying that he wants to fight Lomachenko and Tank this year. Whether I mean, I think that's unlikely. Maybe one or the other. I would prefer the Tank fight, just because, as you said, both undefeated. There's a narrative there as well. The timelines fit. They're fighting 1 week after each other, so it's not like someone's going to have a quicker turnaround than the other. Really, if the fight's made for the end of the year, they've both had exactly the same amount of time, to rest, recover, and so on and so forth. I think there's a real chance that we do get that fight. Both will have to be paid rather a lot of money for it, I'd say, particularly maybe Tank Davis as well. I think he maybe try his best to price himself out of that fight, but I'm not so sure. But yeah, it's a fight I want to see. It's a fight I'd love to see. And like, don't get me wrong, it's a fight that you can make a case for both men. I see it as a 50-50, very close to a 50-50. Not sure if you were going to ask me what way it goes, but yeah, I do think that that's quite close to a 50-50, and you can make a case for either man, and I really hope it happens. And do you know what? Yes, mate, it will happen before the end of the year.
I admire your positivity, Paul. We look, it's an easier question to maybe answer once Gervonta Davis has fought, and just to see, look, post fight, everyone's if he does win, everyone's going to be saying to him, "What's next?" As people always do, and I'm interested to see his reaction. Then it's a topic for a different video, but I think that Davis's career has just been quite disappointing considering the talent that